and welcome to the HomeBhoys Live podcast. It is Tuesday the 28th of October. I'm, of course, Joe McKenna. A date and a couple of days that will go down in folklore. Joined by a full squad tonight, plus another member. So joined by the ever regular, ever ready Jason Higgins out there on my show. What's happening, brother?
Hail. Delighted to be here.
Oh, yeah, listen, we all need a candidate, boys. Midweek rules do not apply. But it's this stressful. Joined by a man not too far away from the boat, Scott McCoy. Longshanks, Liam Howard's happening, Liam.
All good, mate. All good. Emergency cans on a Tuesday. This is good. Good news.
Sometimes Celtic came in with a good, something good. You know, I can drink legitimately, and I'm happy it is. Joined by a man whose fucking name is Desimoto, Marty Flynn.
What's happening? I'm fucking half fucking asleep because I never slept last night. The Ireland women team's going to get fucked out of the fucking playoffs here.
He's talking, but you can't hear him. You can see he's talking of his...
I can hear him.
I can't again. Right, it's me again, isn't it?
It's you again.
Right, Joe, I'll dial out and put me back in again. I can hear Jason and I can hear you. It's just Marty I can't hear.
You lucky bastard.
Yeah, I know. It was Scott last week. Joe, put me back in. I'll dial in again, all right?
Yeah, that's no problem. Desimoto's here. Joined by Scott McCoy. He's there. I don't know if he's going to come in, though. Is he? Say hello. He's on mute. He's just hanging out. He's in the background. He's in the cut. We're also joined by a fresh face, a young man whose voice is now on Sky Sports on a loop. Mack Kelly. What's happening, Mac?
I know much, mate, apart from Martin and you saying a lot of 12-year-olds, but that's just a regular week for me now.
We'll get to that soon. We'll get to that soon. By the way, folks, Mac was at the presser today on our behalf, so we're going to get round to that soon. The only place to start, as I suppose we had a chat about this before the show, is to start with a sort of timeline, a short timeline created from the Hearts game up until today. I mean, who was at the Hearts game among us? I think, Mac, you were there. I think anybody else was at the game, no?
Nope. Ticketless.
Nope.
Right, can we go to you then, Mac, and have a chat with you? Like, I mean, were you talking to fans on the way up to the game? Were you in among the crowds, kind of getting the sort of tone and what the feel was ahead of the game? Because to me, it kind of bordered on a wee bit of like half sort of anticipation and enthusiasm and half complete and utter fear.
Aye, so I got through early because part of what I did, I need to talk to a Celtic fan, I need to talk to a Hearts fan, at least one each. But obviously I know I've been to Tynecastle a few times as an away fan, and you get that big cordon in between. So I got there nice and early, and there was only one guy kind of floating about. I think he was a bit apprehensive just behind it. It was more because we were a bit beleaguered with all the injuries and stuff, and so was I. I had a bit of confidence it would maybe sneak something. Obviously never, but the 3-1 result didn't surprise me either, because I think if I thought went well in my head and my heart, Hearts would have probably predicted a Hearts win. But then when I went into the Hearts end, because I was right in the press box at Tynecastle, you're bang smack in the middle of that main stand, and I think they're just kind of enjoying being top at the minute, and we don't know how long they're going to be top for. But there was a really good feeling amongst all the Hearts fans, and I thought the first 10 minutes for them especially, they just absolutely rose to the occasion.
Right, well, that kind of answers a lot of questions. I mean, I think a lot of what Celtic fans thought they were going to bring to the game was affected, I suppose, by ticket allocation and by the first sort of 10 minutes when it looked like we were really under the cosh. I mean, to open it up to the kind of wider conversation of everybody else, I mean, I don't want to labour the whole point on how absolutely disappointing and kind of really, I would like to say shocking, but it wasn't really that shocking. It was kind of at the end of the game went, yeah, that kind of tracks. That kind of makes a lot of sense. They would be 3-1 by a decent Hearts team. But there was that period, I suppose, in the first sort of 20 minutes where it looked like, for a moment, it looked like the Callum McGregor we've been missing and paying for had made a return. And I don't know whether it was McInnes shutting them down with changes or just, reverting to type in terms of we got back into the horseshoe football and passing it around the kind of centre circle and further back, that then developed into what we've seen repeatedly of late. I mean, that's about as much of a summation as I can make. I mean, you can talk about the fact that we were denied some corners, but they're not going to win you the game. I mean, those decisions aren't going to change the game for you. I mean, the penalty was Stonewaller. I mean, we just didn't play well enough. We just weren't capable of beating a team like that. And it's depressing. So who wants to jump in there next on the couch?
So we all know what's transpired since then, right?
Aye.
But if you take that game in isolation, I was actually quite upbeat leading into it, and I thought, but we started off terribly, right? First 5-10 minutes, they were all ours. But then we got fit into the game, and we were a better team. McGregor was running the show. I thought Tierney played really well. We still had a few passengers, Hatate, etc. But we were causing them trouble, and we scored an absolute cracker of a goal. And we should have, Nygren should have made it 2-1, and then you never know. But you think about it, it was like certainly 2 individual mistakes for Dane Murray. So they gifted him an own goal and gifted him a penalty. And you say to yourself, look, there wasn't that much in the game, albeit in the second half we were awful, and he makes the 3 subs, fuck knows why. You know, only he could answer that, but he maybe will answer it now that he's away, and he's obviously got a fucking a beer he's bonnet about what's been said about it, but we'll get to that. But he kind of destroyed it for us in the second half. You've got Taneke, who didn't have his best game. He had a move in the first half where he burst down that left wing and he was just charging through them. You're saying, this is what we want here. And there was a right bit of fight in the team. McGregor was mad for it. And we were in at half-time. I was confident we'd have come out and won the game. And then it comes out at half-time and you're like, what the fuck? And I think it was as simple as McInnes just putting fucking men right on McGregor and saying, look, he's bossing the game here. I can take him out. And McGregor was just totally ineffective in the second half. And when he fell out the game, the rest of the midfield fell out the game as well. And we just had nothing. And they kind of overran us again for the first 10 minutes of that half. And then it was game over. Fucking so frustrating because I thought Celtic were actually really, it was one of the best, that 30-minute period after the first 10 minutes was one of the best we've played all season against a good side. They're no brilliant, they're decent, but they've definitely got a right danger from middle to front, you know, and they look as if they can get a goal. And obviously with us, and I don't want to keep accentuating the fact, but Dane Murray, I mean, at the start of the game, everybody was all right with the team, but it was evident he should have been hooked at half time, and he wasn't. And you say to yourself, if a manager's all in there and desperate to win that game, you look at that, that's your weak link. And I don't think Donovan was great either, but fucking hell, but we the chances were there for us, and we could have definitely got something out of that game. And I obviously sick at the end, and you just knew when they went 3-1 up, there was no way we were coming back, even though there was half an hour still on the clock. You're saying to yourself, you get a lucky. We had a couple of wee chances. And to be fair to, I'm not his biggest fan, but Kasper Schmeichel made like a world-class save just before we gave away the own goal. That was an absolute belter save. But it was just a disaster. But I thought Celtic were actually pretty decent compared to what we've been like in recent weeks. And they had a bit of fight about them. And it was good to see. But and that was me, because obviously I had it in my head that Rodgers had to go. But you were seeing kind of wee shoots there of maybe the team isn't gave up on him. But alas, just all went to fuck, didn't it? So that's my summation of the game.
Well, that's how we'll operate this then. We'll let everybody expand their frustration and their opinions, and then we'll move on to something to the real drama. Desimoto, Marty, want to come in there?
Well, it was just, I don't, the longer you were watching it, I mean, Jason's right to say that we actually did play well in spells, but you knew that once the wheels came off, nothing was going to put the wheels back on again. And they got forced errors. I mean, the wee lad obviously fucking didn't mean to rattle the ball into the net, but what the fuck was he thinking about? You know, in any level of football from juniors up, like that would be just a crazy thing to do. You know, to do it under such a high pressure thing, you know, is more understandable, I suppose. You know what I mean? He's not playing reserve football or whatever, but fucking hell, you know, it's just like talking about just murdering your own ambitions and your own chances, I suppose. So it's like emblematic, I suppose, how the season started, and one other chance, was it Negron's chance probably? If it had went in, you'd have been facing a very different outcome probably. Would have probably went on and worked away and got the win. But it's just like I suppose it shows you how fine the margins are. But the overall atmosphere at the minute is so febrile, and we don't have that big supporter base at Tannadice anymore. Or sorry, at
Tynecastle.
Tynecastle anymore. So you have that cauldron, and like the refereeing as well. McLean was just doing his usual stop-start stuff again. So when plays were being broken down, they were often being broken down by the ref, and you could just the rating was on the wall. I don't know what happened at half time, but we just like the second half was appalling. Like it was just genuinely a rotten half of football. Like, and we could have played all day, and the result would have been predestined. So I suppose it's all by the by now, given the changes that have happened. We're going to come on and talk to you, but in general, I just felt as if the team had chucked it really. That in that second half, it was just like going through the motions.
But I think that was a result of the substitutions that he made. You're bringing on fucking Yang, who doesn't want to be there. That Balak Wisher shouldn't be there.
No. Listen, and that's certainly part of it, but there has to be a realization too that the squad is fucked at the minute. Lots of our key players are not available, so you're having to play these guys because there's no reserve, there's no youth players really coming through. The youth players that we have got the two of them that we've managed to get through are clearly not at the level yet that we need them to be at, and that would be one of Rodgers' arguments as well. I can't play these guys all the time because they're just not good enough yet. They might be good enough, and like you were saying there about giving players runs in the team. There's none of those players would be getting the run on the team if all our top players were fit. It's just as simple as that. Do you know what I mean? And we have Trusty there who was on the bench. We've paid £6 million for, and he's not match fit either. Alistair Johnson wasn't match fit and came a crapper the other night, probably because of that very reason. So there are mitigating factors as to why we played the way we played, but it doesn't make it any fucking easier to watch. And that's the problem. Like, people are very quick to shout and roar, but when you start analysing it, it really shouldn't be any surprise. And players are coming in there to the squad, and people are getting injured, and you're having to put bandages on various parts of the team. The right hand side of the team's mad, like when you think about it. And like I said last week, I think that like up against those, so Sunday's match was very different from some of the other matches that we've faced with the kind of blanket defences. And I think you said last week, Jason, that you would be hoping that Hearts would break out and try and beat us, which would give our players a better chance because there'd be more open space. For me, the way Hearts come down their left side, fuck's that. I forget the player's name, the wee winger, but he was brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Like he was their outlet down their own left, that side. So they had clearly identified where our problems were going to be, and they exploited. He was outstanding, and I'm assuming he got man of the match. But they exploited us to the full. It was us who were actually opened up because we were trying to attack, and Hearts played us
Did
smartly.
you not think early doors as well? But I mean, Johnny Kenny, we played the ball over the top 3 times, and he was nearly in 3 times.
I know, it was interesting that we were saying
space there.
that for that, certainly for that portion of the match, it was Route 1 football. Like Schmeichel was just battering the ball down towards him. In fact, I think at one stage Schmeichel actually kicked the ball to the opposite keeper at one point as well. So to me, if you're a Brendan Rodgers disciple and you're seeing him, allow that level of football, then he's throwing shade at the fucking wall to see what can stick, because it's completely against everything he stands for as a manager. Just to fucking revert to wallop that up to him there. And it probably does say something about the state of the squad, and not having a Jota who can pick accurate passes and whatever else, and midfield players probably who are too similar, and it's in the final analysis, I think you could see that on the pitch that he was just fucking going, fuck it, Do you know what I mean? Sometimes that works for you, and sometimes you lose your job. For it's as simple as that. And we're 8 points behind now. It's not an insurmountable uh, uh, points haul. We can still win the league without a fucking shadow of a doubt. But it's just on the day, it was so frustrating. And you're right, like we did have that portion at the back of the Arsenal end of the first half where we were actually playing just fine. And as I say, if one or two other things had went for us, then the result might have been slightly different. But we are where we are now.
Yeah, certain a sense of like giving a fucking workman some shitty tools and expecting him to do a decent job, isn't there?
Well, this is what he's been complaining about. He's been saying that the players aren't good enough. Do you know what I mean? And
Fucking good enough to beat Hearts.
well,
Not this year.
but that's
Right,
the
but they
thing.
are.
But that's the thing, Jason. They're only good enough to beat Hearts if everything falls into place. And the squad isn't any squad is more than the sum of its parts, right? So you could have fucking Cristiano Ronaldo playing for you up front, and still get beat five. Let fucking 10 goals in the other end. It's just the way football is, and he has that philosophy of the way he wants to play. He's drilled his players for 2 years playing a certain way, and then all of a sudden says, "No, don't play that way. Just whack it up to Johnny Kenny." Do you know what I mean? It's just emblematic of how the season has gone so far. The preparations for the season, the way the season has evolved since fucking preseason, and there's like you're saying there, you should be good enough to beat Dundee or Hearts. Of course they are, and I've been advocating for Johnny Kenny to be in the team, and just like you're saying about Donovan or is it Dave Murray, that they should be getting the run. When Johnny Kenny has been given this chance, he's fucked it. Do you know what I mean? I said on here a couple of weeks ago, he should have been dominating preseason. He should have been the man coming out of preseason on fire, and he just hasn't. And God love him. Like I'm not having a go at him, but he's just not the required caliber of player. And the opposite of him is Shankland, and Shankland's went through his um his dry spell, and whatever else, and is now quite an effective footballer again. So it could come good for him with no other options. So he has to play. We're so stretched across the squad with players now who are going to get their fucking run in the team by dint of there's nobody else, and we're still 6 weeks away from the transfer, or 8 weeks away from the transfer window opening. So it's 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 incredibly frustrating. It really is. But there are definitely broader factors involved here than just well, they were just shit. We were fucking shit, but the bottom line is there was reasons why.
But before I go over to Liam, right, just like see before that game on Sunday, I had it in my head going, this game will have two main factors: who has a bit of dig, and who can take chances, right? And the first 20 minutes, I thought we had some dig, right? And I suppose that didn't really abate because there still was some decent dig towards the end of the game. What was really exposed was a lack of invention. A lack of
But
actually
that's
fucking
that, this,
taking
but that,
taking the game to yourself and going like, we're going to play football here. It was
but
very like, we watched the same sort of movement, we watched the same sort of ideas play out over and over again, maybe with a small little bit of fucking
but
twist,
this is
or
this is this is where
this
you miss your Jota. And 3 seasons ago it would have been Hatate, and 2 seasons ago it would have been McGregor. And Engels is then now sort of not really fitting in your midfield, so he's never really too fucking sure what he's supposed to do because he can't play really. I don't think he can play with McGregor, and Hatate is just like a fucking absolute shadow of the guy we thought he was. So all that's all at play. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, sit back and have a look. It's really fucking just staring at you in the face. The players aren't good enough. As Jason said again a minute ago, half the cunts don't want to be here. Like, we know that. We know that. We've lost our key striker outlet, which was Maeda. So you haven't got him putting in the goals. We don't have anybody like Adam Maeda who is more physical. Like that's not Johnny Kenny's game. Johnny Kenny's game isn't getting in and roughing up defenders. His game's running from angles into the boxes and that sort of thing. Or trying to capitalize on a long punt or something like that. It's just not fucking right. The whole squad needs a fucking shake from top to bottom. And you're hoping that, like Scott's always saying, like just win in the next load of weeks. You're just hoping you keep it tight and try and get new fresh legs into the squad in January and try and get the likes of Jara back into the team, because there's really nothing else for it. And like, we're going to have to get rid of Yang, and we're going to have to get rid of Maida, and we're going to have to get rid of Hatate, which leaves 3 big holes in the squad, on the wing, in the midfield, and up front. You know, and like, you would not fucking trust these cons to get this right, and they have no choice. They have to get it right.
So that's a scary part. Liam, bring you in, Liam. That let you expunge your fucking frustration.
Yeah, I got the shit slot there, didn't I? But that's
You
fine.
did. You did.
I've got a couple of things up my sleeve, mate. Don't worry. Yeah, so I agree with everything that's been said so far. You know, I mean, last night, we're going to come to last night, you know, seismic events in the Celtic world, but the biggest scandal of the weekend was Jason and his can coat not being at Tynecastle on Sunday. An absolute disgrace.
Shambles.
The worst scandal. There'll be a few phone numbers getting deleted out the phone, I reckon, in the next week.
Right.
So, fucking right as well. Yeah. So onto the game itself, and you know, Marty touched on some of the things beforehand, and I wanted to touch on that as well. I mean, you know, we're right in the shit the last week or so. We dragged ourselves through the European game and managed to get a win, which was good, but losing 3 players of the calibre that we lost out of a really struggling team in that game, 3 key players with no obvious replacements for them, that was always going to put us at a bit of a disadvantage, you know. And I know you said, Jason, we should be beating Hearts even with that team, but we've been battered at Hearts many times before. And even if we were flying, it's a fixture that we could easily get beaten. You know, I think someone mentioned we were 57 games unbeaten under Rodgers in his first spell, and we went there and lost 4-0. So I think it's always going to be a tough place, and this is probably, it's factually the best Hearts have been since that Burnley period. So I think this was whatever team we had out, this was always going to be a game we could have lost and we could have struggled in. Picking the team, I thought it was quite interesting. I think it said in the chat during the week, I thought he'd play Ralston at right back just for the experience there, and he went for Donovan, and I think most people probably would have been all right with that pick. And then Murray was obviously the most contentious one, but it's a bit of a frustrating one, because he said at the start of the season that Murray is Carter Vickers' backup. He's the right-sided centre half that will play if Carter Vickers doesn't play now. You know, especially after Sunday, most of us will feel that he's never going to make it at Celtic. But if you're gonna try and promote the kids and get them playing in the team, then you've got to kind of have a bit of faith in them at some point.
Definitely, I know.
Yeah, but I suppose arguably you couldn't have picked the worst place to try and give him that debut. And he looked pretty good in some of the pre-season games, but he obviously had an absolute fucking howler on Sunday. But I think if Trusty would have played some football recently, he'd have played. But the fact Trusty hasn't, I don't think he's played all season, has he? I think he's been injured since the start. So again, could you have put Trusty in first appearance of the season in that game? I don't know. And the fact that he's come out and said Murray's the replacement for Carter Vickers, you then think, what the fuck is Pusey signing for? Where did they fit into that whole equation?
We'll obviously get to the Brendan Rodgers scenario, but your man played 5 games last season with Man City. If you can play 5 games with Man City, you can fucking play for us in the SPL.
Yeah, he's not even on the bench on Sunday.
No.
So, which was bizarre. So I think the team was contentious, but he went with youth, and I always quite like that as a bit of a bold decision. But obviously,
see a quick one as well. That's a fucking bugbearer for me, right? See this? You need fucking 2 centre halves. One's got to be left footed and one's got to be right footed. When did this actually start being a thing?
I know.
I mean, this only came to fruition 2-3 years ago. I'd never heard it mentioned in my life ever.
Yeah.
It's just a load of fucking shite.
I mean, obviously, I don't know. I never thought about it. I mean, look at the big English teams. What, Liverpool are champions. They have Van Dijk and the other boy, Canate. They're both right-footed, aren't they?
I mean, who even knows about a central defensive pairing?
Exactly.
Who knows what foot they kick with?
Yeah.
It's fucking nonsense. And it was made a thing. And I'm like, when did this actually... See how everybody talks about the high press now? It wasn't even a fucking thing 10 years ago. Nobody even mentioned it. But it's just these words. And like, you need 2 central defenders. One's got to be left footed, one's got to be right. Fuck off. The 2 of them play in the middle of the park at the back.
Yeah. And you look at Yeah, and you look at Atalanta. Was it Atalanta away where I think Trusty and Scales
Trusty and
played
Scales.
didn't they? Yeah, and they were brilliant. And it was going to be that sort of game, wasn't it? They were going to come at us, which they obviously did for the first 10 minutes, and we were pretty poor. And Murray, anyone can score an own goal, but just everything about it was his body shape was wrong. The way he didn't, he had to turn his body away from the goal before he kicked it. He didn't do that. I watched it again today. It actually hit his knee onto his shin or his shin onto his foot on the way in. You're like, such a fucking and Schmeichel had made fucking world class save, right? Seconds before that as well. And so when you're struggling with a team like that, I think you need whatever big players you've got there to step up. And like you said, Jason, I thought Schmeichel was a lot better than he's been in recent times. Some big saves. Tierney had improved. He's still a mile away from what we know he's capable of before, but he was better. Yeah, he was better, and that's 390 minutes in a week or so for him, which can only be good long term.
And the goal was a cracker, to be fair. Tierney was brilliant for the goal.
Yeah, definitely. McGregor stepped up. He took the ball by the horns, scored a brilliant goal, was really decisive. I loved him squaring up to Devlin and carrying on with it. Do you know what I mean? And not fucking backing down. Obviously, picked someone smaller than him. There's not many players in the league that would fit in that category, but it was good to see him doing that. And but then you look at Attack, we keep going on about him, but he was just a fucking an empty shirt, effectively. Do you know what I mean? And you need them better players to go up a level and compensate for them, and a few of them did, but not all of them, unfortunately. But I totally agree. That period between 15 and sort of 40 minutes, I think that's up there with the best we've played all season. We're moving the ball so fast, loads of interplay, loads of good passing, looking creative, and watching that, I'm thinking we'll beat pretty much every, we'll win most of our domestic games if we can play to that level with this team. I thought Tenetti looked good for the first half. And the Negrin thing, it's just so pivotal. Not to say we would have definitely won the game, but going ahead, because we really quietened hearts down at that point in time. I'd watched them against Kilmarnock the week before, and I was really, really impressed with them. Far more impressed than I was with them on Sunday, funny enough, even though they won the game. They weren't anywhere near the same level, just gone on Sunday there. But I think Negrin did the right thing. I thought he brilliant skill to create the chance to bring it into his
well.
What's that?
I did as well. I thought it was a good save, but everybody's saying just put your laces through it. But the
fucking toe poke it from there. It's a goal, do you know what I mean? But he did well. And then my daughter was working, so I had to jump out at half time to pick her up. And lo and behold, it's the first time she's ever been late coming out of a shift. So I actually missed the 2 goals coming back home. So I didn't see the start of that. And then after that, just Celtic had nothing really, did they? I mean, the huffed and the puffed. Thought Shin was all right when he come on. He got out the air, was a brilliant bit of skill. And your man Halkett just blocked it near the end. Thought McCowan added a bit when he come on as well. Forrest, not so much. So, but I wasn't surprised we lost the game. I wasn't expecting us to do too much before. I was kind of impressed with the first half up to a point in time, but then just so flat for the second half, and you just wonder why we came out so poorly after half time. But I don't know. It's just disappointing for the team just now, and got a long way to go, and that's obviously before everything kicked off again on Monday. So
disappointed.
So Mack, what was it like, Mack, sitting in the main stand? Because obviously you need to put the professional heat on because you're kind of doing a job. So what was it like sitting among them when they were fucking thumping us at the end?
You know what? It wasn't as bad as you think, because where my seat was, I kind of get lucky. You don't really get to pick where you sit, but my seat was allocated right behind the Celtic dugout, and then the 2 rows behind the dugout is just full of the Celtic technical staff. So if you want, it was like a de facto Celtic end. That's what I was calling it. When Hearts went 3-1 up, I just put my head right into my laptop and just started getting on with the report. I was like, as little as this game is, I have to watch, the better. But when Celtic scored, I had a wee fist bump under the table, but I never what happened. And then that's 2 Celtic games I've done in a row. We've been beat both of them. I was at Dundee and all, so I think I'm taking myself off Celtic duty. I'll start going to Ibrox.
So what was your opinion of the game? How did you see it?
Yeah, the squad, just to kind of echo what a lot of you have said already, I thought Dane Murray starting, you can see why he started him, but you made the point, Jason. I don't know why we need to have both centre halves with different favoured fit. Carter Vickers and Starfield is our best centre back pairing, and both of them are right footed. I don't think we get beat by a game they two played together. I would have went Donovan on Murray. You can't go both. You need somebody with a bit of experience. I think if you trusted there, he would have maybe told Donovan more where to be. Like, there was a lot of times where Donovan was showing Casey Reedus doing the wing rather than letting him come inside. And I think if you had trusted on, that would have maybe helped Donovan manage the game a wee bit better. And then I think you made the point as well, Jason, that Murray had to be hooked at half time. And I think if Rodgers had stayed, Murray would be playing tomorrow. Murray might still play tomorrow, but the way he spoke after the game, it didn't sound like Murray was going to get dropped. I asked him if we could expect to see Jemai Simpson-Fusey, the forgotten Man City boy, but he just basically gave me a long-winded answer, which would have been quicker. I'm just going, no, he's not going to get a game. So, but overall, first 10 minutes, Hearts looked brilliant, but I think once we got the goal, I think we kind of spooked Hearts a wee bit in the first half. And then I think we were really good, but then second half just never came back out of the tunnel, really, man. I don't know what happened in the second half. They really limited us to fuck all, more or less. And then, apart from I think Luke Cowan had one that just kind of went by the post, but that was just a bit of desperation. We'll just shoot for anywhere.
It was until they went 3-1 up, they just sat back then. Do you know, we didn't get any chances until we were 3-1 down in the second half. You know, they just kind of bossed the game, go to 2 goals, and then just fucking sat back and let us come at them. We were fucking happy enough to try and hit us in the break.
Then, what well for them?
I know. I think they actually done a job on McGregor, because obviously McInnes isn't daft, so he's fucking recognised that McGregor's running the show in the first half. And he's like to them, just get on top of him and don't let him breathe in the second half. And they did. And it just made them kind of null and void. But that should free up space for other midfielders. You know, that's when your Engel should be stepping in, Haddadi should be stepping up to the plate. You know, if McGregor's getting mapped out the game, then it's putting space up for use. But it just seems to be if McGregor's no running the show, the rest of them are just fucking hopeless. So, pish.
Yeah, talking of Engels, who stole a fucking world-class NFL kicker on Sunday? His fucking corners were atrocious.
9 corners we had. I think they were all fucking terrible.
It was back to the hitting the first man corners. I was like, oh, fuck me. I've cursed this guy.
I know.
I've cursed him. I was singing his corner praises the other week.
Think it's because he doesn't get a bigger run up at Tynecastle.
Could be. It's a good shout.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
I mean, come on, you can lift the fucking ball. Come on, the fuck.
I know, but do you know that? See, it seems like Tynecastle's like a smaller park and all that, but it's fucking the same size as any other park. But it just
never bothered Paul Hartley. Never bothered Paul Hartley. He had wee legs, to be fair, though. He did have wee legs.
Yeah, but fucking, I know, and his corners were outstanding against Sturm Graz. You know, and fucking hell. Brutal. With 9 as well, with fucking a ton of them. We should have had 11. 2 of the decisions were fucking abominable.
That first one, it wasn't offside.
The two of them are a yard onside. They're saying, Haddadi must be offside. He didn't even touch the ball. But both of them were a yard onside. And then he gives a fucking by kick. You're like,
we all know McLean's an absolute bastard. So, yeah. Have we got out the system then? We move on to the real meat and the shit sandwich.
I think we do.
Right. So I had a feeling I got the sense that after the game, everybody there was loads of the group chats go around. You go online. It's Rodgers has to go. But part of me, as I said a few times in this podcast, going I don't think that's going to happen. We're going to be made to watch this and just turgidly go through it. I didn't expect it, but then after Sunday, I was like, you know what? If there was a time, this would probably be the time to walk away, because I was kind of weighing it up in my head, going his comments on boards not get sacked, manager get sacked, and going right, well, this is the perfect moment to launch him into the sun and say that's change. But I still didn't really expect it to happen. And I felt like everybody kind of on Sunday afterwards kind of went to ground a wee bit, just with the sort of frustration and the sort of awful feeling in this pit of the stomach, going what has become of this team in the space of a matter of less than half a year. And then I went to bed early on Monday night and woke up in the year 2000 and Martin O'Neill was manager again. I was like, I missed it all. I went to bed at like 9:30. Going like, I'll get it early night, get some good sleep, and then woke up this morning and just like, what? And holy sweet Jesus is going on? I mean, and then there was the statements. So I don't really know kind of where to even start with this. It feels like it's all a big mishmash of absolute fucking madness and fuckery. Where you're going like, right, well, where do you even pull this apart? I mean, there's so much. There's conspiracy theories abound. They're going like, well, you know what? The reason he resigned is because he didn't want to sign an NDA and he wants to say his piece. And the reason Desmond put the statement out is because he's pissed off that he didn't sign the NDA. And they go like, whoa, 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 whoa. That doesn't really matter to me. I just kind of want to know where we go from here. But I suppose to focus on the actual sort of drama and the piece that kind of went down. I mean, there was no even like a warning. Obviously, I missed this by like hours. But I mean, was it even a rumor before it even happened?
No, what had happened was there was word yesterday. So there must have been some sort of activity taking place, and people got the wrong end of the stick because the word that came through early was that Rodgers was signing a new deal. In fact, the Scotsman had it on their fucking website that Rodgers was about to be offered an extension. So obviously, something was going on, and people had got it wrong. And then the bomb just dropped at whatever the fuck time it was yesterday evening, and all hell broke loose. And like I've listened to a couple of podcasts today, and obviously, fuck, it was everywhere. Like Scott was supposed to be on Radio 5 Live and fucking whatever else. We're talking about it here in the north and the radio stations and all too. And like the incredulity of what went on yesterday is completely emblematic as to why there is a current fan collective. I mean, the statement from the club itself was your usual bog standard fucking wish you well with your future endeavours bullshit that they all put out when some manager has moved on. And then for the fucking, like, not even the majority shareholder, a guy who owns shares, basically, in Celtic, 30% of the shares, was allowed access to the club's channels to say whatever the fuck he wanted about a club employee or at that stage a former club employee. It's absolutely
Criminal.
fucking radio rental. And
It's
all the stuff
juvenile
that
shit. Like it's juvenile as fuck. Like
all the stuff that the collective has been talking about, the fans collective, that was it. It just was all proved last night. Do you know what I mean? It was like that. Why have these people got undue influence? It's not. It's not right. You know, it's not legal that someone like that should be fucking operating our club on his own. Basically, it's crazy, absolutely crazy. Now, I have no doubt that there are elements of truth in what he said. I have no doubt about it. But it's his truth. It's his truth. And Brendan Rodgers will have his own version of the same fucking story. But he's not been given access to the club channels to say what he fucking wants. And rightly fucking so. Rightly so. Do you know what I mean? Like, and you can nearly sniff the wind here where, you know, as I says, the famous line in Belfast is you get your retaliation in first. That seemed to be what Desmond was doing. He was trying to get his side of the story out before O'Neill could do Sky Sports News or Talksport, or Rogers could do Sky Sports News or Talksport or something like that. But Rogers isn't really that type of guy. I don't think he would have been rushing out to the press. I think he would have always bided his time and waited on his moment, and which might still come. Frankly, I doubt it because we look so fucking ridiculous now that Rogers doesn't need to do anything. And half of our fans have jumped on it going, "Oh, you're right, Desmond." Do you know what I mean? And that's fine. If you want to take his side and his side of the story, it's absolutely grand. But that's not the point. The point is none of this should have happened. Like for a football, like everybody was saying it this morning, all the football pundits last night on Sky Sports News, they had ones on from the Telegraph or the Times or whatever it was, and they're saying this is unprecedented. We have never seen this before. Tom English was saying the same thing on Radio Scotland. Never seen it before. Absolutely mental. Can't believe what went on. Blah blah blah. Like it's hard not to fucking do stuff, and you could tell that the relationship between Desmond and Rogers had broken down to such an extent that Desmond just wanted to fucking screw him. Now, none of us are going to turn around and say that we reckon Brenton Rodgers is the easiest person to deal with, but that doesn't make him wrong. Now he's left our club again for the second time after repeatedly saying that he would not leave until the end of the season. The circumstances are completely different. Last time we were on our way to three in a row and doing really well. This time we're 8 points behind Hearts. Last time he went straight into a new job. This time he doesn't have anything lined up as far as I can see. Certainly not anything that he's bounced into. Last time it was
I think we should hold that thought for the next couple of weeks.
well,
Yeah, agree. Agree.
but no, it's not
Makes
Jason.
sense.
The last time he left, he had a job offer. And he was asked about it on the fucking TV the day before he fucked off. Like, are you going to go for the Leicester job? There's nothing. There's none of that this time. There's nobody saying, are you going for the whatever job? And he will end up with a fucking job because he's on the managerial merry-go-round. He'll not have a problem getting the job. Another difference is the last time he was trying to poach his backroom staff away. This time his backroom staff got fucked out with him. Like, it's a completely different set of circumstances. While the general thing is similar, but it's the whole thing's the same.
Do you think they get fucked out, or do you think they left with him?
I get the feeling they get fucked out with him. Like, I don't think John Kennedy left him.
Well, I thought someone said earlier that Kennedy had left, but Celtic hadn't told him he's sacked.
No, that was that not Lance? What did I tell you last night about the fella Lance? He's the wee geeky guru, But whatever way it's shaken out, like, they're gone. They're all gone, and they're all club employees, so they're all fucked out. Do you know what I mean? Whatever way you take
John Kennedy one is very surprising. I mean,
yeah,
it really is. And John Kennedy has been close to all the managers. They all rave about him. Everybody who he's worked for said he's a great guy. Blah blah blah. He was never going to be like Hans Postecoglou loved him, and like he had that kind of period at the end of the Lennon era that if there was ever any doubts that he would never take the manager's job, that nailed them all. After that end of season, but Kennedy was never going to be ascending to the throne again. So in that sense, it's kind of understandable because where else would he go? He's just another coach who's there, and they brought Sean Maloney in 6 months ago. Like, a fucking blind man on a galloping horse could see what they were doing with Sean Maloney. Like, I've been saying it for fucking months. Absolutely months that at some point he was going to be groomed. And I'm telling you now, there could be an exhaustive search for a manager, and they have decided that Sean Maloney is the man for the job. That could still be a couple of weeks away.
He's already said today, didn't he? He doesn't want it. Maloney.
Full of shit. He's full of balls. He's full of fucking nonsense. You trying to tell me that if Dermot Desmond makes him an offer to become Celtic manager, he's going to say no? Well, fuck. Not a chance.
Yeah, I'm not sure, Marty. I'm not sure.
He'll take the fucking job.
Do you know what? Anything's possible at this stage.
It's Sean Maloney will be taking that job if he's offered it. They were all doing the social niceties today, including O'Neill. They were all being very polite and whatever else. And Mack can deal with the press conference maybe in a bit more.
So here right, before we all got in our rants, right? I'll go to you, Mac, first, right? Do you think it was the right time for Rodgers to either get sacked or leave, or would you have given him more grace?
I would have given him more time. I thought, only because I don't really trust the board to get the right decision. I think the only name I've kind of seen is Kieran McKenna. He might be good, but I don't know enough about him to really fairly comment on him. I think Rodgers is kind of winning. I think his first season when he came back, that looked like a harder title to win at one point than this did maybe before Sunday. But I think I'd have stuck with him just now. I think he kind of get dealt a tough hand in the summer, in my opinion.
I know that. Aye. What about you, Joe? What do you think? Do you think it was time for him to go, or would you have given him more time?
I think after Sunday, my mind flipped to, if there's a time, this is the time. That's not to say I don't think he deserved a bit more time, but I think he could see it was getting toxic.
This was coming, Jason. Right now, I'm a Mac. If it was me, I would have kept Brendan Rodgers because he's for a multitude of reasons. But actually, you were right. You wanted him out in August, and that's when it should have been done, because this has clearly been fucking dragging on from, like, Dermot Desmond gave you the timeline how long this has been going on. When Rodgers made those public statements a few weeks ago, Desmond rushed to his fucking house to talk to him. So it's clearly been going on that long. So you were the one who was on here months ago saying get him out the fuck, and at the end up, I think you were right. They should have done it then. And
Aye, so I'll come to that in a wee second. But Liam, I think you're in the same sort of wavelength as me here.
Yeah, exactly. So, you know, and which makes Dermot Desmond's statement even worse. Do you know what I mean? It was in June, after the cup final, a few weeks in June, he should have sat down with him and said, sign a rolling contract or a 3-year deal, or it's time to move on, because we need this transfer window to be used to build on this team here. And Rodgers would have every right to say.
And Liam,
hold on, Marty, let me finish.
No, that's it. See, just before you move off, that's exactly what they did with O'Neill.
Oh, but just let him finish.
Right, so they should have said in the summer there, you commit to a deal, whichever one it is, and you know we plan together for this transfer window. Or if he's not going to commit to a deal at that point, you move him on, because you know exactly what this year is going to look like under him if he stays without signing a deal. So I was the same with Jason. I said, unless he signs a deal in the summer. Bearing in mind, remember 6 months ago, we were all saying, put a contract in front of Rodgers, put a contract in front of Maeda, give them a pen and let them just fill in the numbers themselves. Right? That was only 6 months ago. We were all saying that here. But get to the summer, he either signs or you move him on, because if he doesn't sign, then you know that it's just going to become a pantomime and a complete shit show, and that's exactly what's happened. And then on the back of that, after losing to Cairo, the plane, they should have just, you know, after Cairo, that should have been the second time to pull the plug and give someone else a few days to come in and buy some players and do something with the team. So the way Dermot Desmond's come out today and made that statement, you know, slating Rodgers, I know we're not jumping into that, but he just makes himself look stupid, because if that's what was going on in the summer, they should have just pulled the plug on it, because they've seen it before. You know, we've been through this exact same experience with him before.
Desmond's statement was the fucking corporate version of like a Facebook post of like nothing but snakes in the grass, just me and the kids from now on. You know what I mean? It was fucking. It was as casual as fuck. Like,
but see, interestingly, see, if you go back to what I said in the summer, right? And it was only because he was coming into his last year of his contract, and you could see the shit show that was going to unfold. Little did I think would be an unmitigated disaster in the transfer window, right? I didn't see that coming. I still thought they would have, for the good of the club, they would have invested and put some players there and get rid of the ones that don't want to be here, because what we found out after the transfer window finished, your Maedas, your Hatatis, your Yangs, they didn't want to be here. So, not so much Hatati, that didn't really come out, but Maeda and Yang, definitely, they weren't out the door. So, it's just the perfect storm, an absolute shit show. And I didn't really say we had to get rid of him. What I was meaning was back him or sack him, because it's either or. Because we basically went to this purgatory with him. And it's interesting when Desmond's come out with his statement, and if you think back to Rodgers saying there's no deal on the table, Dermot Desmond says we had discussions with him, but he didn't say there was a deal on the table. Correct. So through that, Rodgers is correct. It's all right discussing things with somebody, but unless you put the contract in front of him, there is no deal. You know what Celtic are like? They're fucking snakes.
But Jason, they're both correct, aren't they? Because they both said the same thing in a different way, and this is what we're talking about earlier.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But both correct. But for that point of view, you've got to err on Brendan Rodgers' side, because there was no contract in him. And Dermot Desmond has no said there was a contract, but he's insinuated so that the fans will say, well, he was offered a new deal, he came out point blank and lied to us, when that's not what Desmond said. Desmond says we spoke about it, which is totally fucking different than putting a contract in front of somebody. So, for that point of view, if you don't put the contract in front of him, you need to move on and you need to get succession planning, and you get somebody else in that's going to be giving you minimum 2 years. And then you invest in them and invest in the team. But the full weight's been done. The Celtic board, again, are absolute fucking shysters and clueless. And back to Mack's point, you're 100%. Me personally, I just think Brendan Rodgers was toxic. And I've only got the feeling today that we've got a chance to still win the league. because I fully believe that if Rodgers was still our manager, there was no chance we would win the league, because I just think it's totally toxic. And I think the players, although they look as if they've still got a bit of fight in them for him, they looked for that period on Sunday that they were still playing for him. But he won't play certain players. Bernardo's out the picture. The lad for Man City's no getting a game. There's certain ones. That kid that we signed for Fulham, he's he's through the outlet with him, no even giving him a chance. There's certain things that he just, and then he'll play Dane Murray, to prove a point. And he brings 3 subs on Sunday, which are not going to do a blind bit of difference, but he fucking brings them on anyway. Keep the 11 that's on the park. None of them are fucking injured. We were playing well in the first half, but he then just fucking puts 3 subs on that's going to do absolutely nothing. And he's as if he's proven a point to say, this team's no good enough, but I'm going to show you they're no good enough. And to me, it's all about Brendan Rodgers, and and I'm just glad he's away, to be honest with you, because I just think the whole thing was toxic. But I'm not giving the board any credit for any of this. They're a fucking shower of absolute rats. So it's just an absolute fucking shit show. So that's kind of the point I was making. I've got sympathy with Brendan Rodgers, but no too much, because it was his teams that he sent out there, and they teams should have been good enough to beat the teams that's been in front of us, and we fell. I mean, that Almaty performance, fucking hell, he should have been out the door after that.
Yeah.
But the critical point in the summer was when he said openly, I'm not your manager if you want me to stay still and just win trophies in Scotland. I'm not the fucking man for you. That should have been the trigger. But the board knew that we would have went fucking mad.
Right.
Because we would have agreed, and we don't want to be just a flat track bully in a Scottish football environment. We want to be Champions League contenders, or getting into the later stages of the Champions League or whatever it is. You know what I mean? It's Rodgers is definitely right, and as I say, that's why there's a fans collective, because he's right. You can't fucking argue with him. Our board are fucking dickheads.
Absolutely.
They don't share the ambition that we have. They don't. So it's like, as you said before, back me or sack me, but they should have sacked him.
Is he the first to expose it at this sort of level?
No, because we saw the fucking.
I mean, in terms of how this is played out, Marty, in terms of this shit show that's developed.
we saw those collection of quotes today from Neil Lannon and Rodney Taylor. I've been standing on here for ages. This has been going on for decades.
I know, but they all got snuffed out, but like a candle. You know what I mean?
They didn't. They all lost their jobs.
I know, but this seems a wee bit different to me. It's a wee bit more.
I'm with Joe here. He's actually called them out. Lennon and Ronnie Dyla, etc., Strachan, they all toed the party line. None of them actually called them out. They always toed the party line, and I get full support for the board and all that. None of them ever fucking bumped the bridges, whereas he did. He's basically went out and called them out.
Well, you wouldn't have that Dermot Desmond statement unless something really fucking, unless there was a real vicious breakup. I mean, and I think Rodgers will have his say at some point, and we'll all go to the hedgerow and watch it.
We all won't.
But here, none of this should be any surprise to anybody. They knew what Brendan Rodgers was like when he came. They made him commitments because he refused to come, as we all fucking know. He didn't even want the fucking job, and Desmond pushed him into it. And now his fucking haunches are up because he's called him out, as Jason says. Do you know what I mean? And just to go back to the point I was trying to labour with Liam, when Liam was talking, was this happened under Martin O'Neill. Because Martin O'Neill was trying to get himself a fucking Leeds job.
Yeah.
And there was a whole sweat over if he was going to sign a contract or not. And if you remember, it was the night we played Feyenoord in a friendly for the fucking Lisbon Lions. It was like the 31st of January or something. It was like at the very end of the transfer window, we had to arrange a friendly, and everybody went away and fuck yourselves. We're not going to a friendly, and all of a sudden they said, "Oh, we'll make it a Lisbon Lions night," and then it turned into a celebration because that was the night they announced that O'Neill signed his contract. So, like, there's nothing new under the sun. You either deal with things the right way or you deal with things the way Celtic dealt with it yesterday. Do you know, it's
Yeah.
just a fucking mad club. Just
Marty, what assurances do you think he was given when he signed? I know you mentioned it before, but I can't remember what you said. So just remind me.
He said that the transfer policy had to be worked differently. That Celtic worked too slow, and that there was far too much interference from the likes of Peter Lawwell in transfer deals that were agreed.
Yeah.
So you were agreeing these deals. Like Scott outlined what happened with the fucking Swansea, not phoning them back. They're still doing it.
Not on the phone, huh?
Yeah, but I'm
Still
going.
fucking doing it.
The reason I'm asking is just reflecting on that first transfer window, which was was an absolute horror show up until the last one that kind of superseded it. But that first transfer window, it was an absolute shit show in terms of the players that we signed that window.
No, it's not, and maybe he let that one raid or whatever.
Yeah,
hoping things would get better. I don't know.
Yeah,
But they were the guarantees he wanted. That the money would be there if he needed it. That he knows the transfer market and that he wasn't asking for 70 or 80 million for a player. But he was going to ask for 10 million, 15 million if he thought the right player was there. Because that's the level of player you need to make a dent in Europe. And yes, you can have the odd amazing season where you do really, really well in Europe. That's not what he wanted. He wanted to put us on a European plane where we were playing at a high level every year and you're recouping the money by participating in the more lucrative competitions. It makes complete fucking sense. And it
See if
matches the ambitions of all of us. This is exactly what we want, and the board just don't they're afraid of a bad season where they'll lose a lot of money or something like that. And Lord and fucking hold it has come.
something has just occurred to me, Marty, right? See, when we were doing podcasts back when Rodgers first came back, we had this big long discussion on here about the fact whether he must have came back because the club had made commitments to him in terms of like how things the problems that happened in the past weren't going to happen again. And we kind of had this wee sort of joke of going like, are they just bringing him back? Going like, well, you do your Brendan Rodgers thing, yeah? Turn water into wine, yeah? We'll spend this much money, and here we fucking are. Here we are.
It was slightly different than that, Joe, right? Because we had just come out of the Postecoglou second season where we were riding high, and Celtic were under the impression that Rodgers would have been happy with the squad, and he wasn't. He said that fucking squad's not good enough to do what I want to do, so you're going to have to back me. And I think Celtic were shocked at that. I don't think they expected him to say that. I thought that that he would see the likes of Kyogo and fucking whatever else and go, oh, wow, there you go. We're giving you this fucking full squad that's been amazing and played Real Madrid and all that shit. And Rodgers went, no, they're not good enough players to do what I want to do. So what the fuck's going on? He is in there, he is not. And at that point, really, Celtic should have said no. Because they weren't fucking in it, but they were desperate. Because obviously Postecoglou had strung them along.
I know, but the point is, Marty, their mentality was, don't worry, he's Brendan Rodgers. He'll turn water on the wine, it'll be fine.
Well, it was that, but that's the point that Rodgers.
But here we are on the back end of that, where they basically said, well, what's the problem? What's the problem? You have players. You bought these players. You got these players. What's the problem? And he's going like, you fucking joking me? And we're all going, are you fucking joking this guy?
But the thing is, right? The Celtic support thought that too. Like we thought, fucking Postecoglou squad was unreal, and we were thinking that squad could do.
I know, but we don't operate high level football. We're not fucking.
No.
We're not high level football.
That's my point. At the start of all this, things weren't right. 2 years ago, things were not right. And Rodgers came in, and if you remember, his first couple of months was sticky. He lost his first match, Kilmarnock and all that sort of thing. And then he kind of gained momentum. And as I said last week on here, Rodgers' attitude is February is where the work starts. You're really only preparing for the back end of the season. And then the teams who are going to win leagues win them between February and April. That's where the engine room of the year is.
Let me bring Mack in here, right? Mack, on the press side of things, right? Obviously you're in you're kind of press affiliated to a degree, right? And See when these kind of statements from Dermot Desmond come out, like, is there conversations among other journalists going like, "What the fuck"?
I will. When I got to that press conference today, for example, and then obviously in like group chats and stuff, I think everybody was like "What the fuck has happened?" That when I got to the press room, everybody was talking about Dermot Desmond's statement. Nobody was talking about the fact that Rodgers is mid-season. That all the attention kind of gets shifted towards Dermot Desmond, and I think it's even left the scope of Scottish, like the Scottish media. I've seen a lot of people, like an English podcast and stuff, talking about it. It's kind of made its way down there, and they're like, "I've never seen anything like that." Somebody compared it to Marinakis, the Nottingham Forest owner. It's just something you wouldn't be surprised to see him do, but no, that surprised me a lot more than the Rodgers one.
Especially when he's not even the owner of Celtic, he's just a fucking shareholder.
And that's a lot of people keep, even like Sky Sports have called him majority shareholder a million times. He's not even that. He's only like 30-odd%, isn't he? He's minority.
Shareholder.
Do you reckon there was a lot of high profile people at Celtic just covering their eyes, going, "Oh, please don't do this, please don't do this, please don't do this," but they all had to acquiesce and go, "Well, you are who you are, so go ahead."
That's exactly it. It all has
he has the power, isn't he?
Yep.
And that is the crux of what people find disturbing, I think, overall, when it comes to the way Celtic go and the progress Celtic make and the way they progress, is that somehow this guy, based on his capital, what he's gathered across his life in terms of dough, has Celtic by the reins, and that really, I think that really sticks in everybody's craw. Whether they understand it at a corporate level or at a shareholder level doesn't really matter, right? The fact that there's one person who isn't really the owner has this level of control over the tone of the club and the way the club operates and how things work, it makes everybody question, what are we given to in terms of our lifeblood and also our financial support? What are we given? Are we given to this guy?
See if you're a daft layman's perspective here, right? And I'm asking the wrong people because none of you are going to have the answer. But is there any criminal intent there? Because someone that doesn't own a business effectively owns it through proxy, because everyone else is submissive to him. Is there, seeing companies' house and stuff like that, because there's corporate governance in place and PLCs, right? And you need to adhere to certain rules and regulations. So if you've got a guy that only owns 37.4% or whatever of the shareholding, which is just slightly over a third, but he effectively, in everything apart from the shareholding, owns the club. Is that no? I'm not saying criminal, but it goes against everything that.
See, I wouldn't even put it at that level, Jason. Right? In my mind, it's not even at that level. It's more influence.
No, I'm getting that.
Influence based off reputation and longevity of being there and financial sway, because money talks. At the end of the day,
are they not doing the rest of the shareholders a disservice when you've got one person that has got that much control over a company when they don't actually own it?
Depends on what portion of the portfolio of these people who have heavy shares in Celtic consider Celtic to be.
No, but does he not have an official role on the exec board or something?
He's a non-executive director.
A non-executive director.
Yeah. Okay. So does that, because he's got an official position there, does that allow him? I mean, what he done last night?
No,
is appalling.
He's a non-executive. He shouldn't be doing any of this.
Yeah. No, he shouldn't. That's what I'm saying. It goes like, because there's corporate governance in place for a reason in all companies, right? So basically, if you owned 30% of a bank, but you were going to the City of London and telling them what this bank was doing and their strategy and stuff like that without going through the proper channels, they would fucking have you up in court, because you're affecting the basically the fucking monetary balance of the country.
And here,
Depends on who tells them, though. Who's
and
going
here,
to fucking tell them?
and Jason, think about this too. In recent years, Celtic have told us, right, we cannot make any public statements on things that may affect the share price. It has to be done through the stock exchange. So how the fuck do you explain that fucking diatribe last night?
There has to be something that he's breached there.
It's mental. Like if Dermot Desmond had have released a personal statement through his lawyer or something, or through a PR company, but to see that on the, I said it last night, for that to be on a corporate channel for Celtic is so basically a non-executive director slaughtering a company employee via the corporate website of that organisation. It is fucking diabolical.
So, Marty, I've just Googled it here, right? What is a non-executive director allowed to do? And it says what they're not allowed to do is engage in the day-to-day running of the business or have day-to-day management duties.
Ding.
And they are not employees of the company and are typically part-time, though they share the same legal responsibilities as executive directors.
So he's fucking breached every single one of the rules.
You think so, wouldn't you?
Aye.
Who's going to hold him accountable, though? Who's going to do it? Nobody.
Nobody.
Mack's going to hold him accountable.
I'll speak to him.
That's why we get Mack on the show. Mack, you're the new homeboy. You're just ready. Corporate litigation master.
You're gonna rappel into the ceiling the next fucking Desmond press conference.
That's Mack banned at every fucking press conference from now on. That's the last, sir.
But see, on a serious note, the kind of what he's done, he's basically just fucking put a tick against all the stuff that the Celtic collective is pulling the board for and pulling the club for.
Exactly.
Just demonstrated everything they're saying he's actually spot on.
Right.
Well, what he's done, do you know what I mean?
That's absolutely mental. Like, no other organisation would get away with it. Like could you imagine? Say you work for a bank, and you had a row with the bank, the guy in the bank, and the guy in the bank fucking puts up a big statement about you. What the fuck? Like? And puts it up on their website. It's just that level. It's that level of nuts.
By the way, Jim got turned around for a loan because Jim doesn't have enough fucking capital in his bank account, right? That's why Jim got turned around. That's what he said at the post office.
So imagine a teacher in a school had a row with the principal, and not even the principal or the chair of the board of governors. Some cunt on the board of governors put a big statement out. Some fucking ordinary Joe on the fucking board of governors put a big statement out on the school's website. Like, it's the same thing. It's fucking crazy.
Fucking bonkers.
And again, this all proves why the fans collective is correct. This is all the stuff they've been flagging up. There's flagrant breaches of corporate governance, left, right, and centre. The keeping people on the board far longer than they should be on. People conducting roles that they have absolutely no right to conduct. And come straight out of fucking Martin O'Neill's mouth. Dermot Desmond rang me up. What the fuck's Dermot Desmond doing ringing you up?
Exactly.
It should be Peter Lawwell or it should be Michael Nicholson.
What is the chief exec or chairman doing there? What are they actually doing?
Ringing Dermot Desmond going, who do you know? Who do you know?
Yeah.
What do you know? Who do you know?
What do you know? What do you know, Joe? What do you know? Hey, Joe, what do you know?
I listened to Clyde earlier. I listened to Clyde in the car earlier, right? And they were talking about that exact same thing about recruiting a new manager. And somebody mentioned about the board. And I remember the guy, maybe the host, sitting, he went, the board have zero involvement in a new manager selection. Absolutely zero. They'll be told by Dermot Desmond who's coming in.
So here's a matter one, right? Now that Martin O'Neill's back in the building, this has become relevant again, right? Martin O'Neill was driving down the motorway one day when Alex Ferguson rang him and offered him the Celtic job on behalf of Dermot Desmond. Like, that happened. That happened. Dermot Desmond rang Alex Ferguson.
That was before Rocky Gibraltar, I take it.
Yeah, that's before that whole fallout had happened. So what would have happened was Desmond would have talked to Magner or McManus and said, could you ask Ferguson to ring Martin O'Neill to offer them the Celtic job? Listen, in business sometimes that's the way things get done. Do you know what I mean? But then don't be turning around and fucking saying well, we're a properly run club and we do all these fiduciary duties and all. Well, fuck. It's a fucking nuthouse. It's an
That's in the minute.
absolute
That's in the
nuthouse.
minute somewhere. Michael rang Dermot Desmond and said, "Who do you know could run this
Look,
club?"
here's the thing, Joe. I've said it on here a million times. Chris Mackay and Michael Nicholson went out to fucking the offer Rodgers the job, and Rodgers fucking chased him, and then Desmond had to step in. So there was all this
But they didn't
sort of
doorstep him, did they?
speculation about. There's
Went to
speculation about.
Mallorca.
But they didn't doorstep the guy and go,
They
"Hello."
did.
They
They
went
did.
off.
they went to his holiday home,
They went to his
Mallorca.
house,
They
and he
doorstepped
told
him
him to go
after.
and told him to go. He told him to go and fuck. So then Desmond phoned him up, and obviously Desmond must have made him guarantees. Or he would have told Desmond to go and fuck. Sure, what the fuck? Brendan Rodgers doesn't know Dermot Desmond anything. Brendan Rodgers didn't make his career in football on the back of Dermot Desmond anywhere. Fucking anywhere. Doesn't know Dermot Desmond a wing for Dermot Desmond to be fucking slaughtering him. See, the thing about Desmond is that statement last night laboured on the point about showing fucking what was the word? Mac, what was his words in the statement about showing like discontent or something? Like he's so discontent. That's what Dermot Desmond is pissed off about because fans are talking about boycotting or they're turning in their fucking season tickets or they're not on schemes for tickets or they're not buying merchandise. That's
Ah,
what Desmond's worried about.
turn the
He
weights
wants
against
us
us.
to he wa- tur-
He thinks Brendan Rodgers was the catalyst for the Celtic collective. He's
yes,
fucking
this,
even there in the moon and fucking.
but
You
but he
know,
does. I mean, well, he may not think it's the is the catalyst of it, but he thinks he's feeding it. He thinks he's giving
well,
them
fucking, he's not
cover
feeding
to
it
it
as
or
much as
whatever.
the Celtic board's feeding it. Okay.
Well, this is it. This is and like this is what drives me mad, and it's what drives Scott nuts too, because Scott's going. All we really want off these fuckheads is for them to listen to us,
Right.
and they've just completely dismissed us on every turn. Like we know best. Yous are stupid, blah blah blah. But it's a fucking sticky wicket. It really is. It's we're just a fucking nuthouse of a club.
There's one guy in, Dom Mackay, me and Liam were at the meeting with him, and the guy was fucking bang on, and he was like very proactive, and I'll be communicating to the fans, and he was very fucking upbeat about things, and speaking to everybody, the communication channels were excellent, and then fucking getting him to fuck.
I know, but we
Desmond,
said it.
Dermot, we appear to have a hard human being. Fuck this.
No, but we said it on here the other week. He was sacked for competence.
Aye.
Okay, you know what? We should
100%.
nickname him Bomb Mackay because that's exactly what happened to him. He got fucking bombed at the
Bombed
fuck.
out,
And he was the only person throughout the entire history of the Kano to give them tickets for nothing.
Yeah, it's mad. Like, it's absolutely mad. But all this shit, like none of it is new. We're now talking about new chairmen, new CEOs. That has to happen. I mean, it has to happen. We cannot go on for the next 10 years the way we've done for the last 20. Something fucking has to give here. It's mental. We are the laughing stock of world football today. Like people are just incredulous that a club would behave that way. And like people don't like Brendan Rodgers. I don't give a fuck. If you don't like Brendan Rodgers, I don't care. It's nothing to do with me. Where people don't like Dermot Desmond. I've never met these people in my life. That's by the by. If you like them personally or you have an issue with them, I don't fucking care. What I care about is the football club I support run properly. And whatever personalities are involved, all that gets set to the side. But like when you look at the football department, right? Tisdale has been going to Rodgers saying, "Here's your players," and Rodgers has been saying, "Send them players if you fucking want, but I ain't playing them because they're not good enough. It's up to you." And Tisdale's going back to Lawwell, Nicholson, and eventually Desmond and going, "This fucker's not playing ball. I have these amazing players that I'm digging out from the markets that we want to be plunging, like Japan or wherever the fuck else, and he won't play them." And then Desmond's going back and going, "What the fuck's going on here?" Tisdale's telling me these players are good enough. They're part of the board strategy. They can make us money in a couple of years. What's your problem? And Rogers is going, "I fucking told you I wanted players to do damage with. It's going to take me 4 years to make him a player. He's too lightweight. He's this, he's that." So Rogers is going, "No, they're not the standard that I want. I'm not a standalone manager. I want to make a difference in Europe. That's why I came back, and that's where this fucking whole shit fucking fest has come from. You know, and Jason's right. Jason said it earlier on. Nobody's actually necessarily telling lies here, but they just have their own version of the truth. And somewhere in between is probably the reality of it.
Three sides to every story. Your side, my side, and the truth.
Yeah, but in the meantime, then we're 8 points behind the fucking league. You know, that's the problem. It finds its way onto the pitch. How many times have we seen it? Like clubs fall apart due to bollocks like this, like Rangers. You know what I mean? This stuff just pollutes the club. It puts everybody in bad form. You know, players want out. Players want to leave. Some players don't get played then who think they should be getting played, so then they want to go too. You know, it's just mad. Like it's a fucking mad club. It's mental. It's never going to fucking change.
No. Well, the current custodians in charge definitely no. But at that point, we've got HomeBhoys roving press officer in the building now. So let's get the lowdown for young Mack. What happened today in the press conference with the blessed Martin O'Neill returning. We'll get to him later, right? But on you go, Matt. Give your wee rundown how your day went at the press conference. Give some wee snippets.
I would have been Sean Maloney would have been as well not being there. He never really got asked a lot of questions. I think the biggest talking point for him was somebody asked him, because there's a few fears people had, didn't they? If he was like kind of getting, I think one of you just mentioned that there's kind of getting groomed for the job, but he did come out and say no, he doesn't want it in the short term or in the long term for the time being. Said at the same time, Martin O'Neill said the exact same thing as well. He kind of stressed that. I think he only said it once at that press conference, but he said it on TalkSport in the morning that it's just short term. So I think they've got 4 games max. I never said this because you've got Falkirk tomorrow, Rangers Sunday, then a European game next Thursday, then Kelly on the Sunday, then it's an international break. You'd like to think we'd have somebody in by then, but God knows where this board are now. Big talking points. They kind of just kept it simple. I think he stressed a lot on he wants to win games, and then like somebody kind of said towards the end, that was a question that I had in my head before he kind of got stole from me right at the very end, was like, are you going to bring in like your own sort of tactics, or are you going to keep it like a continuation of what we've had before? And I think he never said directly, but it was more like he's going to try do what he can to win games. That was his message. So what I've took for it is, and I think this is the case when he was manager 20 years ago as well, he never done a lot of the training that was met his coaches. So I think that's Martin. He was just kind of there to be a sort of figurehead, and Sean Maloney's going to be on the pitch as well. Sean Maloney said he described it as a traumatic day at Lennoxtown today. I thought that was a wee bit, might have been a bit tad dramatic. I think if the players are suffering trauma for it, then they've kind of got to toughen it up a wee bit. But I know what he's saying. And then obviously the clip that's went, Sky Sports is Martin O'Neill saying I look 12 just for asking him, is he going to have any input on the next manager process? But he said to me twice as well, he's like, it's a compliment by the way, I'm like, cheers mate. But Jason, as well, you'll know I've had trouble proving my agency at Park this season already, mate. So for that my second time in as many weeks is I had my idea on me this time as well, but I never let Martin see that. But it was a brilliant experience. Cheers for letting me go on your behalf, guys. But
that's you. You're the press officer now. You're the HomeBhoys press officer.
Official, yeah. Do we need to have some governance? Do we need to have like the arsehole convention?
Definitely.
Disappointing.
I'll get the contract out of your dam, Mac, right?
When was the last time we asked the arseholes for anything? Fuck the arseholes. It's like arseholes. They're in the chat. Fuck them.
to let you know, Mac, you've got a chat room there, and it's the arsehole convention, right? Just full of fucking arseholes, but they're our arseholes and we love them. So, aye.
And they love being arseholes is the best part.
Aye. So was there no pointed questions at him? Was there no awkward questions or anything like that? Nothing. Was it okay? Because see what it came across to me, Mac, right? Mark O'Neill, he spoke as if he was still a pundit on Sky News, and all he wanted to do was make light of everything. He didn't get into the detail of anything. He didn't and see, to me, that's kind of worrying. It's kind of like, you're not here for a laugh, mate. You're here to fucking try and help us fucking get back in this title race. You know, this is important shit. But it seemed like he was just loving it and just like enjoying himself and like coming out with flippant remarks. And I don't know, did it feel like that for yourself, or did you think he
Yeah,
was
100%. He was turning on the Yankee blarney.
I know what you're saying. I agree with it as well. I think Sean Maloney was kind of the one trying to keep it more serious, but obviously all the questions were directed to Neil, so it was kind of a bit of difference in tone for the two of them. But I think he sees in the game, but there was like a wee quip every like couple of sentences, you know what I mean? So I know what you're saying. I wasn't overly concerned it, but I think now that you've brought it up, I maybe should have took it a wee bit more serious. But then somebody did ask him, another boy who was quite young, and he kind of got it, but not as bad as me, I don't think. But he asked him if he was looking forward to the derby on Sunday, and he was kind of quick to go, I've not even really thought about it. I've my only attention and was on the morrow. So, but like I said, I don't really think I don't know what he's going to do tactically. I think Sean Maloney's just, to me, I think there would have been, because everybody had a few fears and worries that Sean Maloney is kind of getting, as you said earlier, groomed for the job full time. I think he really is just being interim manager of the new, and they've just went, we'll get Martin O'Neill to kind of make it look as if we're not doing that.
Yeah, Mac, I thought they were quite nervous looking, the two of them. I watched it earlier on. I thought when they were answering, they looked quite nervous.
Fucking probably shell shocked. They probably hadn't slept all night, the two of them.
Yeah,
Like,
but I mean, O'Neill's a
Sean-
master of these things, isn't he? You know, but even he looked pretty nervous.
Well, he made a comment out of himself yesterday on Talksport back in fucking Hearts, and then he had to walk that one back the day. Although he actually handled that one quite well, because it was kind of like what he'd said about Rangers when he came the first time. Remember, he said Rangers were the benchmark.
Yeah,
kind of did the same thing today with the Hearts, which I thought was quite clever. But Sean Maloney was saying, so O'Neill flew up this morning because Talksport said they spoke to him just before they went on air, which was whatever time, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, and he was at the airport trying to get a plane.
Yeah.
Sean Maloney says that he was doing work at 11:30 last night, pulling together the coaches, and he had asked Mark Fotheringham and Steve McManus and Gavin Strachan to meet at 6 o'clock this morning. Do you know what I mean? To work out the framework of the day or whatever. So the two of them look fucking totally shell shocked. You know, that's what I took from it. But obviously, O'Neill's going in there as Maloney's shield. You know, he's the one dealing with the media and trying to deflect stuff away from him. You know.
And then O'Neill, that was kind of like the first question O'Neill answered was like, "How you feel?" And he did say he was nervous, but it was like an excited way of being nervous. That was, I think that was the exact words that he used. And then there was something so he found out this would have been about 3:45 that he came out. So he said he hadn't even known 24 hours yet. So it must have been let's say if we're talking say 5 o'clock yesterday that he got phoned.
Mac. He said that he was speaking to John Kennedy at 4:30, and he had no indication that anything was happening.
But this is what I wanted to mention. So I know we've had the chat in our group, but Mac, I thought he was quite at pains to say, you know, since I left all them years ago, I've rarely or barely spoke to Dermot Desmond since then. You know, we had the very occasional chat, and he kind of overplayed it by saying, look, he's never asked me to come back when there's been managerial kind of movement there, which kind of conflicts a bit with some of the stories going around today about when they most recently spoke.
I remember there was a rumour flying about during the COVID season that he was meant to be coming in. It was either him or Gordon Stratton to replace Lennon, and then they couldn't agree terms with him or Stratton, so they could end up keeping Lennon. But that's hearsay. We don't know if that's true or not. But I think he's kind of playing down how much he's kept in contact with Dermot Desmond a wee bit. But I don't think he's overly been in touch with him over the 20 years. I wouldn't imagine so.
Yeah, was it Spears that's been saying today that it was 2 weeks ago?
Aye, because he was meant to have like the night room or something.
Yeah,
the speaker night.
Interesting.
Was he at the press conference, Spears?
I don't think so. It might have been actually, but I wouldn't actually really know what it looks like. So
I don't think he does them anymore.
Isn't it? What was the split, like fan media and like tabloid media? What was it?
I think it was. I would say it was a lot more fan media, but if who I recognise, I was trying. So you had Gordon Duncan, and then the boy Adam Manolo for Sky Sports. Then you had Andrew McLean for Clyde, Ronnie Charters for STV, and then some guy that was in front of me. I don't know his name. I think he was broadcast media, and then a lot of the other boys I know I've recognised for like Celtic fan channels and just got to the games and stuff. So I think it was merely a fan split compared to traditional media.
Right. Okay. Cool. Good wee experience, but did you enjoy it?
Not brilliant. I wasn't even that nervous actually until we looked me in the eye, but
you looked as if you were sitting right in the middle as well, weren't you?
I was sitting right towards the side, and all the other fan media boys were at the other side. So that's how I ended up being last, because obviously they've passed the mic at that side, then they've started going back the way, and then I've had to kind of walk out the middle, and I just went, there's no point in me going back to the side, so I ended up going right in the middle. But then what was it? Somebody replied to one of Sky's tweets about it. They added Gordon Duncan saying, "This has got to be you," and then Gordon Duncan was like, "I actually thought it was to begin with, but it was a young man right behind me."
Do you know what? That'll be a great segue, because see the next one, he'll know you. Do you know what I mean? You'll go,
Exactly.
Thanks for that. No,
It's me.
Babyface Kelly. In there. Aye. It's a 12-year-old assassin here, Mark.
Aye, better hope he doesn't get beat tomorrow, else I'll be coming back.
So,
the young team's here.
So what's the drill with us with like press conferences? What ones do we get? Do you get into post-match or like that?
I think every other one we get post-match or something for, but we get plenty of invitations, so we can keep you going on there, Mac. Did anyone mention you need to speak Gaelic at these interviews? These press? Did we get
That's the fucking gold standard, Mac.
Scott McCory's joined. Now that press conferences are being talked about, McCory's here.
Listen, hold on, boys. Hold on. I'm going to jump off.
Wait. Go ahead. Fuck off then.
I'm going to jump off here because I'm away with a wee man in the morning. So, Mac, well done. And fair play to you, and I'll speak to you all later.
Right, Marty. God bless.
Cheers, Marty. Take care.
Yourself. No, just to kind of come in with Liam's saying there. No, we're on rotation. It's not every other one. We're on rotation for. I think you get a pre-match twice and you get a post-match twice due to the amount of things. But generally, if there's new players or something breaks, we get invited to that as part of the fan media. But we get invited to all the women's one if you want to go to that back.
Yes.
One of them you want.
I just let me know if I'm not got uni and if I'm not working, I'll go. Aye.
Sweet, mate. We'll just keep firing it to you, buddy.
We had a ball during COVID, didn't we, in the press conferences? We had a great time during COVID in the press conferences because it was all through Zoom, and we just sat around and come up with weird questions that asked weird players. I mean, we're the first one.
I can't hear you all again now. I'm going to dial off. Just dial me back in again if you don't mind.
No problem. I don't know if you've ever seen this, Mac, right? But whatever Liam Scales saying, right? We've got a friend. Jason's a very good friend. Jason Maloney. He's a massive Shamrock Rovers fan. We found out that Liam Scales spoke Irish. He was a fluent Irish speaker. And Marty, who's just he's just gone to bed. He's a fluent Irish speaker. So we said, right, fuck it. I said, let's send Marty out of the Zoom call and just ask all the questions in Irish. Right?
I think I've seen this. Aye.
Right. See if you watch it back, right? Liam Scales looks like he's been asked a question in an exam when he was in front of the city. He starts sweating. And Marty has to kind of like lead him through it a bit, but he starts speaking Irish. See the traction we got on that one tweet? I sent it on the Celtic and said, this is the response we got from just having this guy speak Irish to Liam Scales. And they never got back to us, obviously. But then the following Paddy's Day, he was speaking Irish on the fucking Twitter.
there was no something like 1 million views or something like that.
Oh, Jason, it was nearly 2.5 million.
2.5 million views on it, aye. Because it went all over America and all that.
It went across the world, Canada, America, fucking Australia, it went all over the world, which proved to me My daughter is studying to be. My daughter's a fluent Kilgore. Still all her studying through Irish up until she's going to university now to train to be a teacher. But she wants to be an Irish teacher. I didn't realize the possibilities around the world in terms of teaching fucking Irish and get like the Irish language around the world. And I said to her, fucking keep going, because that's fucking. Like, she loves traveling. She's like, if I want to travel, I said, well, don't stay here. Just go and do it somewhere else because it's all out there. And that from that one tweet, I learned that.
Canada, America, and Australia, there must be all sorts of opportunities in these three places.
Yeah.
New Zealand as well, probably.
Anyway, we're on the tangent. Sorry, Mac. This show goes on tangents.
So so here's the thing, right? I wanted to go in this conversation, Scott. This will be up your street as well. What do we think the more night, right? Do we think there will be, just to the question that they were saying at the presser, Matt, do we think there'll be continuity and they'll play a similar way that Brendan played so that it doesn't upset the apple cart too much? Or do we think there'll be a big change in personnel or a big change in tactics? Or how do you think it'll go?
I don't think it'll be like a massive like change in shape. But obviously, I think when O'Neill was here the first time, it was like he played the 5 back, didn't he? I don't think it's going to be anything like that drastic, but I think personnel there's going to be a few changes in midfield. I think McCowan's going to start. I wouldn't be surprised if Bernardo came in. I think there's a few players. Obviously, Rodgers had his favourites.
Yep.
But I think for the way I go that Martin O'Neill was just kind of wanting to come in and get as many wins as he can. I think he's got to. I think he'll take one look at the squads that Rodgers has put out in the last couple of games, and he's going, "Wow, fucking something needs to change." So I think he'll put his instinct in the team in some way, shape, or form. But I don't think he'll be anything that drastic. If you know what I mean.
Do you think he'll still play with the same kind of shape?
I think he'll still go with maybe it'll still be like a 4-3-3, but it depends. I think the midfield 3 they might play maybe a sitter or even maybe a 10. But I don't think it's like. But I think if I was him, you've got to give McGregor a more advanced role so he can push forward, because that's when he's at his best, when he's on the ball driving. I think he's got to do something like that. And then if you bring out a Hatate and put in guys like Bernardo and McCowan to have that bit more of steel to give McGregor the license to go forward, I think that's the sort of change that's the change I'm expecting, but we'll see.
There you go. Scott, what about you? You've not been on much tonight, obviously. What do you think? It'd be interesting your thought process.
I can't sway much with Max saying. The good thing that's worked out for us a wee bit here is Martin O'Neill's been back up the road a fair bit, be it for these Graham Spears things, be it for commentary. The pre-match and post-match games. So he is actually watching games, so we'll have an opinion. I can't see any. Gone are the days. Well, if you think back in the day, formations weren't a big thing because everybody just played 4-4-2, so it was just about changing players. But the fact is, this team's been drilled in this. Even the guys under Ange have been drilled under a certain way of playing and stuff like that. I'd be amazed if we came in and saw root and branch. I mean, Mac there talked about, but remember, Martin O'Neill refused to come away from 4-4-2. Remember, and the Huns kept beating us, and then he changed to the 3 at the back. Oh, sorry, we started the 3 in the back and he changed. No, I can't see it changing. I think personnel is a big one. But again, I wouldn't be surprised if the personnel kind of remains very similar. The guys who seem, as Max says, Bernardo seems to be sidelined, even though he picked up a couple of wee bugs and stuff like that. But to go way back to your point about the game at Tynecastle, I would like to see more patience for the guys they're bringing in and a wee bit more intolerance for the guys who aren't doing it. We were all getting frustrated. Again, you're talking about Cal McGregor. Cal McGregor this season has regressed quite noticeably for whatever reason, be it it's just another year of fucking slog, be it the rest of the team's no playing around him, be it the fact he's lost Taylor in there. But the fact is, Callum McGregor isn't top notch now, even though Hearts game shows indication he's still got it. But he's got to be rotated in and out of the team if he's not performing. He can't just stay in the pitch because he's captain Callum. And the same thing with Hattati. I often felt Hattati retained a place on the pitch when he was failing more than others, because he had that wee bit of quality that he could stick the place out for 90 minutes. Aberdeen, for example. Now, I mean, Aberdeen game, he was rotten, but he scored the world day, so everybody was like, oh, Hattati's your best player. So I think there's a bit of that. What's going to be really interesting is what happens up top. Because Johnny Kenny, I don't think Johnny Kenny is good enough to be Celtic's leading striker. I have my serious doubts where Shin Yamada is going to be and should be our main striker. But that's what we've got. And these guys have scored goals, albeit in the Irish League, albeit the Conference League. They've scored goals. So set up the team to maximise what you've got. You can't. The frustrating thing with Rodgers, we got to a point I felt where he was almost playing the same formation in the same way that suited better players. And I think Martin O'Neill, maybe, I don't know about Sean. See, again, I'm contradicting myself. I keep saying Martin O'Neill, but I agree with Mac. Everything that press conference today indicated me was that Martin O'Neill is in to appease us while Sean Maloney's come in to do the job. Yeah. Because if Sean Maloney comes in himself, well, he's already in the club. If he gets a gig himself, then we all crack up even more. Martin O'Neill was kind of gave us, and as you say, he done that kind of, hey, take my mother part of the day at the press conference, you know what I mean? So it's really doing to Sean Maloney, and we remember that Sean Maloney's already in the club, and Sean Maloney will be watching these games. So to summarise, I know I've been running the houses here, to summarise, I can't see much difference in how we play, but it's more, are the players going to react to a wee bit of freshness? Because it's definitely went stale.
Totally.
I'll just say the whole load of words there, mate.
No. I kind of like to think that Max says will come to fruition, you know, and we will fresh up in the midfield. The rest of the park can't really see where we can really fresh up because we were good. Excuse me. But we don't really have many players like out on the right and out on the left that you can actually change. You know, our kind of fullbacks. We're kind of. Sorry.
Inamura.
To bring in Stevie Tierney.
Inamura. Well, we signed Inamura as a centre half.
Oh, right. So
I think
I would think Trusty. I would think Trusty would come in there with skills.
Mate, he's already spoke about it. I felt bringing Murray in to Tynecastle. We spoke about it before we started, Jason. He's brought in Murray against Tynecastle, against the best team in the league, right? Including ourselves, the best team in the league, away from home. As Liam already says, a place that we've dropped points even in our best teams. So to drop him in there alongside Donovan, it does smack of kind of almost self-sabotage. And I would love to think it's not. But the fact that you had Naroki sitting on the bench down in Villa Park, the game's already went away for us, and he brings on Murray, and then Murray ends up making a mistake. So if you think Murray's a good talent, give him a chance in home games, give him a chance in cup games, let him play.
Give him a chance like a game with tomorrow night.
100%.
You know?
100%. But see, be honest, if Scales, Carter Vickers out for that long, Trusty's going to play most games. And I agree with you. Fitba fucking survived on 2 right-footed centre halves for fucking most of my life. And I don't see how kind of playing 2 left backs. And again, Liam says, in Atalanta, who was our best fucking pairing? do left centre half.
I mean, the thing is, was it even a thing 10 years ago? Had you ever heard that mentioned? Ever?
Well, if you had a left-sided centre half, everybody says, "Oh, aye, look at him." You know yourself. What was it they always says? One of these will jump in. It's flipped out my head. What is it they say? A cultured left foot. You never ever heard anybody say he's a cultured right foot.
Aye.
Anybody trapped with a left foot? Oh, cultured left foot, and you're like, no, he's just fucking left foot. I mean, Tom Boyd played fucking Macy's career at left back with a right foot.
Aye.
I mean,
I know. But aye, so I reckon hopefully it'll be Trusty and Scales tomorrow night, right? And then because Mack made a great point. You know, you're playing Donovan and Murray, two inexperienced players at Tynecastle, and they're playing next to each other. You know, it's when you think about it, that hindsight's a great thing, but that shouldn't happen. You know, you should have an old stalwart near one of them to keep them right. You know,
I don't necessarily agree, Jason. If you trust the boys that they're going to go in, but let's no kid ourselves on that Murray has been impervious in every game he's played. Murray has an average, has a big mistake in every game he's played for Celtic, I think. Every game. So I appreciate what he was trying to do. I mean, Trusty's Trusty's a £6 million player.
Aye.
I mean, if people are criticising Martin O'Neill for his big signings, then Martin O'Neill's making it fucking easy for him because he dropped Engels for fucking Negrin, which is went badly wrong quickly, and he's dropped fucking Trusty for Scales, which over time has actually been better. But the irony being, if you go and watch Murray's own goal, see if you had Trusty in, Trusty would have used his left foot and cleared it easy.
No, I know. It was a wrong ball for a right foot.
No. It's a wee joke just in case anybody hangs on.
So it'll be interesting to see, and I don't think they'll make drastic changes because if you get a team that's been schooled and playing that way all season, and then you go like that team, you need to totally change the way you're playing. It can go anyway, you know. So I think they'll.
One other thing, Jason, I'd like to throw to you is who are we playing? We're playing Falkirk, right? And while Falkirk don't have us, they don't play with a fucking Simon Murray. Do you know what I mean? So is really Trusty your best option on the day? Is it? Because Trusty can't pass worth a fuck. You know what I mean?
I don't know. We'll wait and see.
Who you're up against is important as well.
Aye, I suppose
so. There's my frustration about how it finished with Brendan Rodgers, and I appreciate I'm coming in at the tail end.
So before you go anywhere, what's your opinion? Everybody else gave our opinions. Do you think it was time for him to go?
I think so. The fact is, Jason, you what's the words I want to pick here, right? You over the piece that I've known you've been the less critical of Celtic. You see a better side, whereas I kind of fall on a negative side a lot of times, right? And even we are sitting. I don't think we are necessarily reaction to Celtic fans. I really don't. I don't think we are. I think we kind of give people time. Generally, we call it how it is, but we give people time. But we were starting to doubt what Brendan Rodgers was doing was the best for the club, and we started to doubt whether it was, as Dermot Desmond saying, a wee bit self-serving.
I think so, definitely.
And once we get to that, we start thinking that, and we already think that the board and Dermot Desmond are a shout of cunts. That when we start thinking about the players, the manager like that, then it's kind of broken, innit? The system is broken. I can't disagree with anybody. You called it in the summer. I always felt that if you're going to sign a £3 million manager, and see his car analogy, however fucking mistimed it was, it isn't a bad analogy. If you're going to see Guardiola's fucking raps Man City and he says, I want to come to Celtic. And Celtic go, oh, brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. And we start buying players for them and they're all shit. What's the fucking point in having Guardiola? And that's kind of the frustrating thing with Rodgers is everywhere he's been, it's always been a car crash at the end. Again, pardon the pun. Everywhere. Leicester ended up a shit show, he blamed the world. Liverpool ended up a shit show, he blamed the world. I'm pretty sure when he left fucking Reading or Watford, he blamed everybody. I think Swansea's the only one that fucking he walked out the door and said,
Aye.
So
I know, and it's I mean, me personally, I think he's a serial bullshitter, right? I think everybody thinks that, and I think he's got a 2-year window, and I think even when you get to the third year, the players are probably wise to that and going, "Yeah, fuck, what's he on about?"
Well, look at the squad, guys, right? And I'll open this up to, if you were part of that squad and you won the Callum McGregor, CCV, Hattati, Scales, Schmeichel, Tierney, I suppose, Johnson, if you were the rest of them, doesn't it feel that you're kind of getting... Why does a guy like Yang desperate to go to Celtic?
Still get a game.
No, but forget. But why does a guy like him, who was playing, who was in and out of the team, seem desperate to leave Celtic? And then, I mean, you hear the stuff about Ida the day. It's, I don't know. Something's definitely broken in the club. The frustrating thing is, Brendan Rodgers has got his 8 points behind, and we're looking unlikely to get wins. But it's no his performance that's got him the sack. It's what he's been saying, and that again shows me that the structure we've got football-wise is crap. You know what I mean, Dermot Desmond's fucking ego's been hurt, so the manager goes. Everything Marty says was perfect. I mean, I agree with him, and we'll be using that in the collective going ahead, because this guy's using this club as his own private fucking.
Aye.
It's his to play with. We're a club guy. The club that we all fucking love and adore, and we're sitting wasting our own time doing podcasts, and this guy just uses it to do what he wants. He can buy players whenever he wants. I mean, Paddy McCourt, love Paddy McCourt, but if a manager doesn't want Paddy McCourt, it shouldn't be set. You know what I mean?
Totally, and it's like he's a multi-billionaire. I don't know, multi-billion, but he's a billionaire, and Celtic's a wee fucking distraction for him at times.
Yeah.
And nothing more than that. And somebody mentioned that. I don't know if it's true, but somebody said he's never been to an AGM before. I don't know if that's true or not.
He's certainly not been in a long while, if he has been at all, because he started sending his boy, but I don't even know if his boy goes anywhere. And he says he's never going to sell the shares, and he's going to give shares to his boy, which to me sounds like the fucking Kellys.
Yeah.
I mean, sounds like the Kellys.
It's the Kellys with money we've got now.
Kellys with money, yep.
Yeah.
And they'll no take any telling.
No, they've not got him the answer.
Exactly.
You know?
I mean, that's see, to be honest, the Martin O'Neill thing, right? And I think the fact that Martin O'Neill, I think we've kind of got it right with Martin O'Neill. He's coming in to make all us old guys happy. You know what I mean? He's come in to kind of dissipate the fucking, what, you gave Maloney the job? What are you talking about? I think he's come in and Maloney and Martin O'Neill maybe get to Christmas and he'll go, oh, do you know what, my health isn't that great, and then Maloney will just crack on. So that's my cynical side, how it goes.
Surely.
But the fact of the matter is, we're all guys, Jason, apart from Mack. Mack's fucking brought the average age down by fucking, I don't know how long, man. He's 12. So Mack's coming in, right, Mack? And let's be honest about it. It's the same as my dad used to talk about inside halves and all that, right? And I'm like, what are you talking about, you old DJ, right? Football's changed. We have got fucking false nines and stuff and they're on numbers and all that. It's all changed for me, my 4-4-2, my right wing, my left wing, my centre half. You know what I mean? It's all changed. Expected goals is something that people use to analyse football. That's a fact. You might not fucking like it, you might get it. We've just appointed a guy who dismissed XG as a pile of nonsense. And we always laugh about the Hearts thing and all that. I think that's a wee bit overblown. But Marty really is an old school, right? And he'll maybe see because then he just starts shouting at the players. The players, wow, who the fuck's this guy? It's different. Go on, it's gone.
Maybe, what if we walk up tomorrow night and it's 4-4-2?
Imagine that.
They're up front.
Jason, me and you'd be shouting for that, come on. What did Hearts play? Fucking Hearts almost played 4-4-2, didn't they?
I know. That's what we're talking about, Mac. See how like everybody plays one up front nowadays. Back in the day, it was just 4-4-2 all the time. And we were saying, surely some new manager's going to come in and because the bottom line is English teams fucking ruled Europe with playing 4-4-2. All these continental teams had all their fucking tippy-tappy. The English teams just fucking battered them and won all the European Cups and fucking ruled Europe. We're playing 4-4-2 in a kind of British kind of style. And then everybody got the Barcelona mode and everybody started changing and it just, English teams took a big drop and fucking Barcelona, Real Madrid, Bayern Munich and all that started fucking ruling Europe. And you say to yourself, is there not a bit like fucking, you should probably get back to that, get back to that?
Well, Jason, you obviously like the EPL. I'm not going to mention their name in case AI comes for us again. But
I don't like the EPL at all. I like one team.
Right, you like one team.
Matt likes them as well. So Matt's in Victoria.
Right, so right, we're not allowed to mention the name, Mac, right? Because we've done a search on AI about the HomeBhoys and it come up. But anyway,
Everton.
No. So Arsenal, right? So England got to the finals of the Euros, I think, or the semi-finals before they done recently, a couple of years in their corners and their free kicks, and now you've got Arsenal top of the league in their corners and free kicks. And I saw a press conference today. They were talking before the Celtic one came on Sky, and they were talking to Arteta, and they were calling him an outlier and calling him a trendsetter because all the teams are now focusing on set pieces, right? And my head was fried watching it because I was like, what? But see the set piece thing, it does lead to 4-4-2 and it leads to big man, wee man. Ball in the box, big man knocks down, wee man takes care of it. Doesn't it? Just leads to that. So I wouldn't be surprised if we're back at that within 5 or 10 years. But I wouldn't. See, what the irony is, for all this football that Brendan Rodgers likes. So Brendan Rodgers likes possession football. I'll be honest, I'm not a fan of possession football. I really love counter-attack football. See that soak up, and then you've got like 5 guys who are all fucking
that's brilliant.
Really fun. I love that. See that football. See Jurgen Klopp's Borussia Dortmund from 2009 to about 2010, to about 2013. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Really great to watch, man.
There's nothing better when you're soaking up and then it's 6 passes and the guy's bearing down in goal. Fucking goal. That's brilliant. You know?
Touch football is brilliant, man. And the frustrating thing with us, I'm sitting watching somebody and they were talking about, was it Hearts? They outsussed us. They left Scales on the ball and they never pushed them. And I'm sitting going, No, it was actually fucking a podcast I was listening and it was going, have you noticed now the lips? And I'm sitting going, this been happening for years. See, Gerard used to man mark every one of our players when we had the ball until it got to ball and goalie. And they let ball and goalie of the ball. And there was a game we could beat 2-1 at Parkhead. I think it was the one that he cheered in the fucking camera. Remember that was him?
Aye.
He beat 2-1. But see that day, all they done was every time we had the ball, they sat on every tap of us. And when they got to ball and goalie, they never pressed him. And ball and goalie would take a touch, and try something and get it straight back to them. And they would boom, and they were right. Doing that like we're talking about. I'm pretty sure Graham Souness called it fucking find the dope or something, was it? He called it. Know what I mean? So, But alas, again, I'm away in fucking 8 million tangents. Who we're playing tomorrow, it'll be interesting. But I'm actually looking forward to it now. I think the whole thing's invigorated us all a wee bit.
Aye, I'm not too sure. I'm fucking still like, Batman, what the fuck's he doing there? It's like, but we'll wait and see what happens. As you say, as Sean Maloney, right? We'll wait and see what happens. But you said earlier on, Scott, you think Matt O'Neill will be there to Christmas, then Sean Maloney will take it on to that.
Yeah.
Surely no. Surely we've got a succession plan.
Somebody
Somebody coming
suggested to me, and again, I think it came right for his heat, but the reason Kennedy's away from Celica is Kennedy was offered the Sean Maloney role and he said no. And that's how John Kennedy's away. But that's based on somebody's heat. But if you think about it, it doesn't sound too fucking mad, does it?
And let's face it, right? See, for all I'm slating at the new, right? If we actually turn out tomorrow night, play brilliant, we win the semi-final at the weekend, right? It's blue sky here, right? Or green sky, whatever you want to say. But if things start going well and they start playing well and it's Sean Maloney that's behind it, I'll get behind it. Who knows? It's one of these things in football. You never know. I've not got any great expectations, to be honest with you, but I do believe there's some light at the end of the tunnel simply because of the reason that Brendan Rodgers is away, and that's how bad it got for me, because I believe everything was just toxic. The board are still toxic, but I believe now we've got a shot. I'm not entirely convinced we'll win the league. In fact, I think we probably won't, but I think we've got a shot at it now. But I think Brendan Rodgers stayed. I don't think there was any way.
Right. I think we're almost hitting 2 rules. I think we'll kind of close up. But let's go in the room and see your thoughts on what's going to happen for the remainder. Just a wee kind of. You want to start?
The remainder. Fuck.
Are we going to like?
But what is the remainder? The remainder could be 2 months of Martin O'Neill. Who the fuck knows? The remainder.
They'll be winning the league.
I just hope that, honestly, I felt like Martin O'Neill and Sean Maloney at times turned into a bit of a fucking Laurel Hardy shtick, kind of on O'Neill's kind of end. I mean, I felt I got a wee bit kind of cringy at points. I was like, all right, mate, you're meant to be here to kind of reassure us to a certain degree, and you're kind of hammering it up. That I didn't really appreciate, but again, it is Martin O'Neill, and he really hasn't really lost a step when it comes to the media. So I think we're in a situation whereby the manager, as in Martin O'Neill, is going to be the kind of public face of the club and deal with all the, the press stuff, and then the actual work on the training pitch is going to get done by Maloney. And if that does gestate into Maloney being the manager, well, then we're back to the kind of manager being the full face of the club. And this entire moment is very, 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 very bizarre to me. Very bizarre. But looking forward, I would hope tomorrow that O'Neill can inject some sort of energy, belief, and a bit of sort of motivation into these players and some sort of life into them, into the team, and we'll see some forward thinking and some ingenuity. I hope that the other end of that doesn't be them all sitting there going, "Oh, fucking our guy from the north going, trying to motivate us." You know what I mean? I just don't know what to think about at the minute, because it's all a bit up in the wind, and I don't think until next week we'll have any kind of competent sort of idea on where this is going and what's going to happen, because tomorrow is kind of a fucking dice roll. Let's be honest.
Falkirk at home's a dice.
That was a big collection of nothing there, Joe. Thanks.
I know, but that's what I'm here for.
Right, Liam, you still there?
I'm still here, mate. I'm still here, listening.
Some sort of answer that's no gibberish.
Yeah, I'll try, mate. A bit shorter than that. So for me, I think it's a 2-step process here for us, right? I think O'Neill and Maloney need to come in and just stabilise things at the very least just now. So we can't get worse. We can't keep going on a downward trajectory. They need to make us difficult to beat and try and find a spark from somewhere that's going to make us more creative to kind of win more games. The chat you were having just 5 or 10 minutes ago about changes in the team, we've got players that haven't played, right? Yeah, that's true. There's a whole list of them, but we don't have any game changers that's not playing. We don't have any really genuine, talented players that haven't been playing games for us. So that's the restriction I think they're going to have in terms of how much they can change it. They can change the personnel, but are they better players? Yeah, it's a bit debatable. But for me, I think we need to stabilise it as much as we can, particularly in the league. I think the cup game at the weekend is a toss of a coin. Could go either way. And personally, I think Europa League's already beyond us this season. I think we've got the harder games coming up. So maybe if that doesn't go well and we can start to discount that, it might help us the league side of things, which is not what I like normally saying. But the second stage is we need to absolutely have a permanent manager in before January. And he needs to be able to start rebuilding the squad and the team, based on a productive transfer window. So this interim thing needs to be 4 games maximum, and then somebody in, feet under the table, and buying players ready for January.
Can I jump in there? Just a couple of Tom, Fred, and Breezy, who really does electricity, it seems. But they were saying, I think it was Breezy flung in Edin Terzic as a. Now I probably watched the vast majority of his games for Borussia Dortmund, and I wouldn't be having him. He's a Borussia Dortmund fan. I think his passion alone got him through things at times. But as a full-time manager, his football was chronic. He didn't really ever pick a great style of football. And ended up, I know they got to the Champions League under him, but Nuri Sahin took a lot of the credit for that. He came in for Turkey, and I wouldn't want Nuri Sahin as manager either, even though he beat 7-1 last year. That's just my input. And Mac, what about yourself, mate? What do you think? Or what do you hope, I suppose? Think and hope.
Yeah, I would hope that, what I think, I don't think there's going to be a whisper of a new manager before the semi-final. Not even like a wee leak in the press, I think. They're going to get the semi-final out the way on Sunday, then you'll start hearing wee bits here and there of who we might be getting. I think I said it earlier, I think Martin O'Neill's got 4 games in on max, and then I think they've really no other choice but to get somebody else in before the pitchforks will be coming out again. I think it's going to be somebody. I think it's going to be a young manager. Martin O'Neill said that a couple of times. I think he said it on Top Sport and in the press conference. He stressed it's going to be a young manager. Don't know if he knows something that we don't. I think it's going to be somebody new. I don't think they're going to go back to like Ange or anything like that. And then in terms of domestically, I think we've got enough in us to win the League Cup. I hope maybe more than think we're going to win the league. I probably think we're going to win the league. It depends when Hearts start to fall off. But I see Hearts or Rangers win the cup. So I think wishful thinking, I think we'll get a double this year, but God knows.
Right, J-Bo finishes off.
I'd love for us to get that Ketel Knutson, but I can't see that happening. No chance. Celtic, no danger. He's 57, so the chances of getting him is probably. I reckon might be that Cian McKenna, which I don't really know much about. Don't know what he's done, and I know Ipswich done all right with him, but I don't think he's been pulling up any turnips. But it's Irish, and that's the kind of opus for fucking Desmond, do you know? So probably somebody like that. I don't know. But in the short term, I just want Maloney and O'Neill to steady the ship. Am I confident about anything? No, really. But I've got a wee bit of hope now that Brendan's no there, because sad to say it, but I've said it so many times, it was poison. But the board's still there, so I've still got no confidence in them appointing the right guy. I hope they fucking shock me, surprise me, and whatever. But aspirations for the season, I could see he's winning nothing, to be honest with you. But I've still got hope. What my worry is the Rotten Mob. That guy that they've got as a manager, I think he'll have a wee bit about him. Being at the German national team and being at Bayern Munich, he's learned for the best, and so if he gets them going, that's a worry for me. Hearts, I could see Hearts could drop points at St Mirren tomorrow night, and wait and see. I don't think Hearts are. I think we can catch them, no bother. But it's us that I'm really worrying about, and I'm hopeful more than anything else, but I'm not expecting that much for the end of the season. And I kind of agree with what Liam says. Europa League, as much as it's sad to say, I think we maybe need to. They might turn us into a great team again, because we've got the players to do it. So we could end up going on a run there. Who knows? Everyone could end up being brilliant. But the way I'm at the now, I would kind of sacrifice it to try and win the league. And again, what Liam said there, get a full-time manager in place within the next 4 or 5 weeks. Get him building his team up to the January transfer window. Get some good signings in. And then you've got the last 6 months, hopefully, to win the league. And then you've got a guy that's had 6 months, 4 or 5 months in the job, that once we go to next season, he's hitting the ground running. And I think that would be the ideal opportunity for Celtic. Because sometimes when you get a manager in at the start of the season, your European campaign goes to pot because they don't really know what they're working with. You're playing teams for Scandinavia that's in their summer season, etc., and they're better than you. But if you get somebody in with the second half of the season to go, he finds his team, gets a few his own signings in, and then moulds the team into the way he wants to play, then next season could be looking good. And I would probably sacrifice the league if we get a decent manager in and we maybe fell a bit short. But then obviously the rest of the season are going to go that great if we fall short. But long term sort of thing, which Celtic don't really deal with long term. But my only hope is within the next 4 or 5 weeks we get a manager of note in the building, and he gets a January window to sign some players, and we start moulding a team together so that next year we can have a crack at Europe and going to win the league again. But this season's it's just an absolute shit show, and obviously with injuries and that as well. But can I limp our way to January? And I don't care how we win games really, but it's just at the stage now winning games. If we're to beat them in the semi-final, I agree, it's a toss of a coin. I probably think we'll be marginal favourites because I still think we've got better players and that guy's bedding in. But I don't know. I think he's got a wee bit about him. So I don't think they'll be a shit show for much longer. I reckon he'll do all right with him, but we'll wait and see.
Jason, I think tomorrow's really, really pivotal, right? So, they're away at Hibs tomorrow, Hearts away at St Mirren. We've got Falkirk, right? I mean, honestly, all 3 games could go any one of the 3 combinations, really, the way everyone's playing just now. If Rangers go there and win and play well, then you got to think they're back in the groove a little bit. They're back in contention, but I'm not sure that'll happen tomorrow.
I'd like to see a good side.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. That's Kilmarnock at home is a big challenge, different challenge from Hibs away. So, I don't think they'll get much tomorrow. But if they win out there tomorrow, that'll give them massive momentum.
Yeah.
Hearts at St Mirren, it's just that sort of sticky place where you can drop points. But again, if they were to win there tomorrow and both of us drop points, then they're fucking steaming ahead there, really.
They play a league game at the weekend as well.
Yeah. Exactly. Or, we could win tomorrow and the 2 of them could drop points and it's suddenly a different picture again. So I think massive night tomorrow, really, it's great to actually say that about the league for once.
Yeah, it is. Aye, absolutely. So I'm to summarise what I said there, Scott, I'm hopeful more than expecting, but I'm glad there's a change. No, the change I would have wished for, but I'm glad there's a change, and I'm glad it's just an interim measure. And I'm glad that Mack said for the press conference that Maloney's no the preferred candidate, or he's no expecting to take the job on. But by the way, as I say, anything happens in football. If we start fucking playing swashbuckling football, everything's fucking outstanding, and it turns out Sean Maloney could be the best manager in Celtic's history, I'd fucking take that tomorrow. But who knows? Who knows how it's going to work out?
Well, on that positive note,
Oh, Joe, hold your water. Right. I don't know if people, everybody listens to this will probably have seen it, and if you listen to it on Thursday, you've missed it. But there is a protest tomorrow, and we're kind of hoping we can get as many people as we can. So if we're looking for people to congregate outside the steps of Celtic Park. Where exactly we're not sure yet. But the collective are supporting movements. The collective, once again, made up of all the major Celtic supporter groups out with the North of Ireland Celtic supporter clubs. And they've all came together, they've all voted to be part of the protest again tomorrow. So 7 o'clock tomorrow, front of the stadium. We're just
Tell me something. The North of Ireland.
They don't speak for Breezy Ice, but so good. We don't speak for him, but we speak for who I've just said that we speak for. We're asking that every Celtic fan come along, shows a wee bit of support, because we're not fighting against the team. We're trying to help the club, and a wee bit of support. Nobody's telling anybody what to do. We're asking you. We don't speak for anybody. We're asking you. We're asking for support. That's what we're looking for. People need to kind of wind their neck in a wee bit and stop putting words into people's mouth. Nobody wanted you. Nobody says we're speaking for you. So we're going to just show the board that we're not happy about it. We're not going away because they get rid of Rodgers. Rodgers was, as we say, kind of part of the problem. But it would be good if people could come and listen to what's been said. Again, you don't need to agree. You don't need to do anything. Just turn up, listen, give your thoughts at the end, and if anybody's into it, come and help us as well.
Yeah, and Scott, we said earlier, I'm sure you heard it, but everything that the collective have said about the exec and the board has been completely vindicated by Dermot Desmond's statement yesterday. Yeah. Everything.
100%. And one thing that the North of Ireland Celtic supporters that are not behind it, I think they'll get behind it now that Brendan's away.
Question, let's not talk about that. Let's not do that.
I've got a couple of
that's I'll be wrapping up the fuck. That is time to
wrap it up.
Press your Marty buttons, Joe. Come on.
Wrap it up. The fuck. Right, folks. Mack, appreciate you coming on, buddy.
I think HomeBhoys are Mack's virgin appearance in the HomeBhoys.
Yeah, man of the match tonight, mate, by a mile.
Right, talk to you later, folks. See you next week. Hopefully in some sort of different mood.
Cheers, guys.
Stay on Mack for a wee second.